Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story entitled, Am I the A-hole for asking a girlfriend to enter in a formal financial agreement similar to a prenup prior to moving in with me? And guys, this story is about a guy, he's 36 years old, and he's definitely been through some hardships in his life, as you're going to see as I get into this story. And he's had a girlfriend for a few years, and she's been hinting about them moving in together. Okay, and understandably, as you're going to see, this guy, he's been around the block. He's no spring chicken, and he realizes there could be problems down the road if they move in together and eventually break up, and it could have an impact on his finances and assets and all that, because he lives in a country where apparently after 18 months, if you're living with a woman and you split up, she can have a claim to some of your money and assets, right? So understandably, he wants to have an agreement written up, kind of like a prenup, to prevent this problem. And to no surprise, she throws a tantrum over this, ignores him for a while, tantrum, all that, and then other BS going on with her friends and family. So he's wondering, hey, am I the jerk in this situation? And right out of the bat, I'm going to tell you, no, this guy's very smart for doing this. But anyhow, guys, I'm going to go through his thing here. It's not super long, but I'm going to go through it, chime in on occasion, and at the end, I'm going to share my opinion on how I think he ought to handle the situation, and then you'll see comments from other people thinking very similar views. So he starts off saying, this has caused quite a fervor in my family/friend circles, so some impartial input would be good. My girlfriend, 31-year-old woman of 8 months, asked me, a 36-year-old male, a week ago, how I'd feel about her moving in with me. Oh, my bad. I said they were together for 3 years. They've been together for 8 months, and she wants to move in. Makes it even worse. She'd been dropping hints that this might be coming for 2 weeks leading up to this, so it wasn't completely out of the blue. I told her that I'd like that, but I'd feel better about the whole situation if we entered in a formal financial agreement beforehand. He says in parentheses, this is similar to a prenuptial agreement. She asked me if I was serious. And when I said I was, she went all quiet, and she said we had to leave before she said anything we both might regret. He says in parentheses, we were out having dinner at the time, no restrictions where we live. So, 8 months, and she's already trying to shack up with the guy. How many of you guys have been in this situation? How many times have I told you guys in other videos, never move in with your girlfriend, ever? The only reason you should ever consider doing that is if you are on your way, you want to get married. And you know my opinion about marriage, but it is what it is. If you want to do it still because of cultural reasons, religious reasons, whatever, in spite of the countless stories you've heard and the tragic stories and all that, how guys get screwed, okay, you do it. That's the only reason to do it, as a practice to see what it's like. Other than that, there is absolutely no reason to move with your girl. And a lot of guys do it thinking they're going to save money, when guess what? Ultimately, they end up paying either financially, they get hit hard financially, or other issues, they get hit hard later on down the road. But no, there is no reason to do this. In 8 months, this guy out of his damn mind, 8 months moving with your girl, you're just barely beginning to know each other. The honeymoon period is just starting to end, unless he thinks that, okay, the honeymoon period's ending, so if we move in together, it's going to be so wonderful, magical once we move in together. This is the idea a lot of guys have, and then they learn the hard way. Anyhow, he says, we spoke on the phone the next day, where the crux was, she felt I didn't care for her or trust her. That is the classic line. Whenever a guy brings up the issue of a prenup, it's the age-old, she gets upset because she says that he doesn't trust her or he doesn't care. No, the guy is looking at reality and the statistics about, this is in regards to prenups, how many people end up in divorce. So he's only protecting himself and what he's accumulated in terms of wealth and assets prior to eventual nuptials. But the woman has a meltdown, cries, the whole 9 yards about, you don't care, you don't trust me. Hey, you know what? He just doesn't trust female nature. Isn't so much you, or just simply he knows the statistics on the situation. But here we go with the guilt. He says, I told her I did, but I just felt like the financial agreement would be a sensible thing. We haven't spoken directly since, as she won't pick up my calls. Won't pick up your calls. Translation, they talked that one time. She wasn't happy about it. They got off the phone. And now she's not getting back to him as fast as he needs, so he's obviously calling her and calling her and calling her. Guys, does this sound like a guy that's going to be in a position of strength or a position of weakness? He's not in a very good negotiating position if he keeps calling her and calling her and calling her to talk to her and to make things right. It shows her, hey, I can ignore this guy's calls because if I do this long enough, it's going to put him in a weak negotiating position, and eventually he's going to cave to my demands. So she knows this guy obviously is probably more into her than she is into him, or something like that. And he keeps calling her and calling her. He should talk to her that one time after that whole thing came up at dinner, and that's it. And she gets back to him, no matter how hard it was, because obviously he likes this girl enough that, you know, he was considering moving in with her. But he should have had that talk one time and let her reach out to him. Even if it takes a month or 2 months. But even then, that says what her true character is. But instead, he's calling her and calling her, being the pursuer. So every time he calls, she's just sitting back. I got this guy. He's going to keep calling and calling, and I'll make him wait, and I'll manipulate him in the situation to get what I want. Wrong move. Shouldn't have done that. A few days ago, I sent her a message, so he's still chasing her. I sent her a message saying, I'm still happy to talk through this, though. Unfortunately, I've copped a deluge of negative comments from her friends and family. Quite hurtful comments with a lot of name calling. So now her friends and family have jumped in to, I guess, contacting him, or maybe, I don't know what, he just has comments, or maybe they see him or something, make him out to be the bad guy. Okay, so already he's in a weak position by bombarding her with calls and texts to pretty much fix the situation. And she knows she's in the driver's seat. But now he's got the friends and family. Guys, this is a perfect sign that he should not move in with her. This is a perfect sign he shouldn't be with her. But you're going to see here, this guy's had some tragic things happen in his life, so he's obviously, you know, not at his best. You'll see in a moment. But right then and there, her treatment of him, her behavior, and now the friends and family are giving him a hard time. Right there. End it. Move on. End of story. For context, I lost my wife and child in an accident 7 years ago, and the only silver lining, if you can call it that, was the insurance and court case meant I could pay out my mortgage. I also have a well-paying job and live quite comfortably. So 7 years earlier, his wife and child died in an accident. That's terrible. And so understandably, it's taken this guy a while to get with somebody. And so he obviously, you know, I mean, you can see here, obviously, he's moving on, but it took him a long time, but he doesn't want to mess it up because of what he got. The insurance, the mortgage is paid off. He's got some money, good paying job. He doesn't want to mess anything up, but understandably. She doesn't care. He says, I only started dating again since the accident in the past 3 years. It took him that long to get to a place where he's ready to start dating again. And this girlfriend is the first person I want to have a relationship with. Well, right now, her behavior in this situation, how she's handling it, and her manipulation and bullshit by ignoring you, and obviously throwing a fit over this, and her friends and family, shows you don't want to have a relationship with her anymore. He says, note, where I live, you can legally be classified as a de facto relationship after 18 months of cohabitation. This means if we broke up after 18 months of living together, the girlfriend might have some claim to my house and finances. That's bullshit. He doesn't say where he's from. Obviously, nowhere around here. I'm in the United States. So obviously somewhere overseas. 18 months. 18 months of just living together. Not even married. And she could have claim to some of this stuff after they broke up. You bet your ass this guy should have an agreement of some sort that could obviously shield him from problems. Part of me feels like the a-hole because I never meant to cause all this. Part of me feels like it's still the right thing to do. Trust your instincts. His instincts, his gut told him this was the right thing to do. He's only having second thoughts because he thought this girl was obviously a catch. He thought she was someone that he could be in a relationship with. But now she's obviously reacting the way she is, and she's being manipulative and ignoring his calls, ignoring his messages, sending her friends and family to go give him a hard time, make him feel bad about this. Right there, she showed him her true colors. He doesn't have to wonder anymore. He knows exactly she's not girlfriend material. And you got to learn a lesson that, guess what, don't move in with your girlfriend here. He says, so, am I the a-hole as all these people suggest? Please let me know. So, no, you're not the a-hole. You are very smart. You did what most guys wouldn't have the guts to do. Unfortunately, you also did what most guys do when things go bad with a girlfriend in terms of a disagreement or argument. She's giving you the silent treatment, so you're going to keep pursuing and pursuing and pursuing. Call after call after call, text after text after text. Guys, you don't do that. One call, one text if there's in any situation, and you wait for her to respond. Whether it's just simply communicating in general, or there is a disagreement or argument. You don't bombard with the texts and emails and phone calls and smoke signals, or however you communicate with, because that just shows her that you are obviously more into her, and you're willing to cave for her. So she can just sit back, rub her hands together, and realize with every call that this guy made, with every message he made, she's more in the driver's seat. She's more in the power position. You don't want to be in that situation. And that's where this guy screwed up here. There should have been one conversation when they spoke after that little dinner disagreement where she obviously, I have to leave because I don't want to say anything I regret. That's it. And if it took her a month to get back to him, 2 months, so be it. But by him chasing after her, big mistake. I cannot stress that enough. But no, he did not make the wrong choice here. It was the right choice. Okay, he's got to protect himself. His wife and child died. He lost them. That's terrible. I feel bad for the guy. But he did get all his money, which paid off his mortgage. So he's good in the house. Good paying job. He's got some assets. Why risk that over some piece of ass? Seriously. 8 months? 8 months you're going to move in with your girlfriend? You're just beginning to get to know each other. Okay? And that still could, in a way, be the honeymoon period. So many guys do this. And guys, I've told you before in other videos, don't move in with your girlfriend. There's plenty of reasons. And on the financial aspect, let's just say you're not in an area where after living together for a period of time, she could have a piece of your money and your assets. But look, you move in with your girl and you break up, she can make things so miserable that you eventually leave and your name is still on the lease. Or other mutual expenses, you know, other bills and utilities. And she could try to have you, she may decide, hey, I don't want to get another roommate, so I'll just make sure you're on the hook for these things. So even though you move out, you can still be on the hook for some of those things for a while, or it could damage your credit. I did a story just like this yesterday on my other channel, the other channel titled They Did What, which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked it out, by all means, go over and check it out. It's for crazy, entertaining stories. That's the whole channel. But anyhow, that happened to a guy. So that's one area. Another area is that she could be on the lease, responsible for part of the rent and other expenses, and she could up and leave. And then you got to find somebody else to help take care of that, or it's all on you. That's one reason. Or the fact that a lot of times when you move in with a girl, she changes. A lot of times guys think it's going to be so wonderful, so great. Maybe it is the first few months, but then she changes. She's not the same girl. All of a sudden, you don't have the freedom you once had because she's always wondering where you are all the time, who you're going out with, when are you coming back, on and on and on. Her treatment towards you changes because now she's got you in a house. So her general excitement to see you is not as much as it was when she got to see you once a week, maybe twice a week, stuff like that. And you start seeing the real her. She's no longer the hot little hottie that she once was. She's there on the couch with the 9-year-old sweatpants with holes in it, her hair sticking up like the Bride of Frankenstein, no makeup. You're like, who is this person? And I can go on and on. It just makes no sense. So unless you are ready to actually get married, like that's what you want to do for your own purposes, I would not advise it, and there's plenty of other reasons why. But this guy was 100% in the right. He's got to take care of himself, protect himself, and it's not worth potentially risking all that for some chick. But anyhow, I'm going to real quick go through a few comments people said to show you that, both from men and women, that it isn't just me who thinks this. One guy says, the suggestion of an agreement causing this much uproar leads me to believe that the agreement is necessary. If you broke up and she became entitled to your belongings or finances, it would be ugly, not the a-hole. Exactly. Couldn't say better myself. Another comment, this is from a woman. She says this: I urged my husband to get a prenup because I wasn't after his money. He laughed at me and wouldn't hear it. So this is the woman that says this was her idea. Had she moved into her own place, she'd have zero issue signing a lease. But somehow, because this is her partner, it is offensive. Nope. Exactly. If he moved into her place, she'd have him on the lease. It's just another document protecting oneself. She says, protect yourself, OP, original poster. If she continues to make a stink, then your best bet would be to move on because nothing about what you asked for is unreasonable. And this is from a woman's perspective. Well, quite frankly, this guy should move on altogether because this chick is just trouble. Okay, she's not that they're all not that they're not all manipulative in varying degrees, but this one is definitely manipulative. And the fact that she brought in her friends and family to give him a hard time, make him feel like crap about this, what does that say? And she's how old is she? She's 31. She's 31. She's behaving like a 7-year-old. And the last comment is a little longer, but it's dead on. This guy says, look, I can understand an initial knee-jerk reaction of it being brought up because some people take prenups and financial agreements as saying, I like you, but I'm not sure we'll last. For those people, they can't imagine anything possibly going wrong ever in the relationship that would make them split. Right. They're out of their mind. They're of the mind that it's 100% for sure non-breaking thing. Right. A lot of people think like, oh, we're never going to break up. We're never going to split. Well, guess what? Statistically, it's going to happen. There's more than a 50% chance it's going to happen. And that's in divorce. Not to mention just a couple that's together in a regular boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. And they may be right, but more than likely, they aren't. The original poster's girlfriend, however, doesn't strike me as that type. She strikes me as the what's mine is mine and what's yours is also mine. How long has she been dropping hints about moving in? A few weeks? So like 6 to 7 months into the relationship. That's kind of fast in my opinion. Right. Especially if she knows you're a widower. Then the addition of her flying monkeys, who likely only have her really warped version of the story. Yeah, the friends and family got her version of the story, and they're bugging this guy. What happens the next time? Let's just say this guy caved, which I certainly hope he doesn't, and they get back together and they move in and doesn't do this. What happens the next time they have a disagreement, whatever? She now knows that she can just back away, and he'll come chasing after her, and she can get her friends and family to give him a hard time again, and he'll cave again. This guy cannot cave. This guy needs to end it with her. He finally says, yes, the original poster, I'm pretty sure you were smart for asking for a financial agreement, and I honestly sit yourself down and ask whether this is the sort of person you want to spend more time with and energy on. This isn't the behavior of a rational, mature adult. It reminds me of my 5-year-old when she doesn't get her way. Exactly. That's what I said. I was being nice by saying 7-year-old, but he's right. It's more like a 5-year-old not getting their way. You can't get that toy at the toy store, and the kid stomps and throws the tantrum over the situation, but that's what you get. So, but maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe this is his way of dodging a bullet by bringing this up, seeing her throw a fit, and there you go. And many, guess what, guys? Perhaps this is a great idea for you guys that still don't want to listen to me and still want to move with your girlfriend, but want to test the waters, or you guys want to see just what she's really like after a while. Bring up something like this. If she brings up moving in, bring up the whole financial agreement or some type of a roommate agreement thing and see what she does. If she throws a tantrum, has a meltdown like this girl, that's all you need to know. So, but anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, if you ever come across a really good article or story or personal story that you'd like me to go over, send it on over. I'll definitely go over it. And if it definitely works for this period of time, I'll certainly share the story. And if I don't do it right away, I might wait a while, but eventually when it's a little more relevant. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.